Hello everyone, welcome back to Unfiltered Voices. We are on our own tonight, it's just me and Shannon. And we've got a few things to go through. So, as many of you are aware, we was originally getting a pod up early to discuss a few things that have been going on lately regarding certain people trolling us. That is something that can't go up yet. And we know it's really disappointing because a lot of you were invested and wanted to know what was going on and who it was. We can't discuss it. So the police are involved at this point. We are not allowed to talk about the people involved until the police investigation is over. Shannon has got the email, so she will read it out, but I just want to make it clear. I haven't been arrested, like for anything to do with this at all. I've not had the police contact me. I've had nothing. So technically, in a way, I would be okay to talk about things, but Shannon ideally needs to be able to have her say as well because it massively involves Shannon, more so than me. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be tonight, and we are gutted about it. We really are, because we feel like we should be able to talk and tell people what's been going on, and we can't. So yeah, disappointing, but it is what it is for now. And I promise, as soon as we can discuss this, it will be going up. The podcast is ready, it's recorded, and as soon as we get the all clear, it can go up, and we will keep you updated with that. But I'll let Shannon read you the email that she's been sent with what they've basically said.
Yeah, so I just want to say as well, we have literally spent our whole day and part of yesterday trying to find a way around this. Trying to think of ways that we can discuss the situation, but there isn't one at this moment in time. Obviously, I was only arrested on Monday, so yesterday. It's very fresh, and yeah, we have gone through the email like word for word, both of us together, and tried to find a way around it. But at the moment, we are just as disappointed as you are, because we want you to know this as much as you want to know, and especially as the people involved are males and we're females, and being silenced like we have for now is so frustrating. And I think Becky's the same on that, but it is for now. And yeah, once this is all done, and it's not going to be a month long investigation or 3 months, 4 months, it's not, then we'll be pressing upload, and it will be uploaded no matter what the day of week or time is. So I will read the email to you, just so you're aware of kind of what we're working with. So bear with me while I put it up. Obviously, I'm not going to give out it does state the police officer's name and station and stuff that's dealing with it. I'm not going to obviously read that bit out. But yeah, so this was received today, after my interview yesterday. So it says, Dear Miss Strapp, thank you for answering my call earlier today. As promised, here is what we discussed in writing. You are currently being investigated for malicious communications and harassment. During your interview on Monday, the 24th of February 2025 at 10:14 hours, I explained what this investigation would include and what we would expect from you during this time. As explained earlier, we have received new information insinuating you have a planned podcast. They have quotationed podcast due to be released this Wednesday, the 26th of February, which will be aired on YouTube and other social media platforms. I would like to kindly remind you that while this investigation is ongoing, matters involved in this should not be discussed or used online. Due to the nature of the harassment claim, this would also include using anyone's name, false claims, or claims set on hearsay. Claims only set upon hearsay. The offence of harassment may apply. For harassment to be committed, there must be a course of conduct, i.e. 2 or more related occurrences. The information does not necessarily have to be violent in nature, but must be oppressive and need to have caused some alarm or distress. As you are aware, the victim has already made us aware of alarm and distress, and we agree that until we have had the chance to investigate this fully, the circumstances behind the investigation should not be disclosed publicly. If the information is indecent, grossly offensive, obscene, or threatening / menacing, then then an offence relating to malicious communications may have been committed. This offence does not require more than one incident. Please take the time to read this email carefully, and once again, any questions or queries arise, please do not hesitate to contact me. Best regards, the police officer dealing with it. And obviously signed off with her details. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment. As you can imagine, my first instinct was to think we're doing it anyway. But I don't feel like that will benefit any of us in the long run and will give the person involved, the people involved, what they want possibly, because it would more than likely result in me being taken back in for questioning. They are aware of, obviously, this podcast, which has been brought to their attention by him. So I assume this will be taken into consideration when looking at the evidence. So for now, we are really sorry, but we can't speak as freely as we would have liked to.
Yeah, which is frustrating because, you know, they're not the victim in this at all.
No, and that's, yeah, and that's the frustrating thing, because that's exactly what they're playing, is victim. And and he has in so many situations in the past as well, let's be honest, one thing I will say, if you put 2 and 2 together by anything that's said in this podcast, then that is purely down to you, and if you feel you're certain on who it is, then you're probably right. But I can't give out, I can't risk it. I am a mum and I have to think about what the right thing to do is, but excuse me, you may be able to work things out. So just think a little bit outside the box with maybe some stuff that we're saying.
Yeah, and we have had discussions since yesterday. I was obviously well aware that Shannon had been arrested, and we've kind of had discussions all day yesterday and today. We got to the point where yesterday was like, okay, we need to re-record the pod and try and do it differently, but we can't. We can't do nothing. Now, like I said, I've not been arrested myself, and I could technically do this podcast on my own, but it goes a lot deeper than what people are probably going to assume here. It's not just the trolls. There's other things that go with that I can't discuss on my own because it's not my business. And we both want to be able to have our say on the situation when we can and when we know we're safe to do so. So yeah, annoying, and it is frustrating, and we're gutted because we had everything planned for it to go up tomorrow, and then yesterday obviously Shannon got arrested and we was like, okay, we need to get it up sooner, hence why many of you would have seen that I put up a story to say that it was going to go up yesterday, and we couldn't do it. So yeah, we're gutted.
And at the same time, we're trying to, obviously it's set in stone who's involved now because they've gone to the police, but the motive behind this is still something me and Beck are really trying to get our head around as well. I mean, the motive behind trolling is normally to make someone feel shit about themselves and to just give unkind and hateful comments, but it's not like that, guys. It goes so much more deeper, and the motive behind this particular person is really unclear. There's a side of huge jealousy from that this person has always had about regarding my relationship with Matt, from day one, has wanted to sabotage that. There was a bit of an obsession with Becky, so were they jealous around that? That's why they tried to make out that it was Becky sending me these messages. Me and Becca are still trying to work out that as well. So there's so much going on for the both of us. It has, I would confidently say, obviously it has with mine, because, you know, my whole week so far, even though it's just Tuesday, has consisted of phone calls from the police and interviews. But it has taken over our life, I would say, because it's all so fucked. And when this all comes out, I think jaws are going to drop, because yeah, it's all, we're still asking each other, like, why, like what was the motive behind this? But it's so hard to open up with you about that when we're unable to say certain things at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got an idea of why certain things were said, but yeah, we can't go into it. We can't discuss it just yet.
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what really saddens me is since we found out who it was, this has made you so unwell, and like this is what the people don't see. Like they don't see all this. They don't see that, you know, it affected you so much last week. I don't know what I can and can't say right now, and this is just like concerning you, but the extent of what they've done has had a massive impact on you, and this is what frustrates me the most, because they're playing the victim when they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I know kind of where you were going with that, and yeah, it's put me in hospital, but yet I have been arrested for something I've had no part of. I've literally just been continuing with my urbex journey, posting my photos, having a laugh here and there, and receiving these vile messages. It's put me to a point where I was admitted to hospital. Um, Obviously wasn't able to see my kids over that period of time I was in hospital. For it to be turned around on then you is really hard to swallow. And yeah, I'm not well at all. And um, just remember, when people refer to not being well, that doesn't always mean physically. You know, this has taken a huge toll on me, and I feel like I've been very strong until now. And I have broken a little bit over the last few days, and I think I'm happy for you to say what you want to say on that, Beck, because I know yesterday was a really hard day for both of us.
Yeah.
And my behaviours were really worrying for me as well. Like, for me to recognise how unwell I was, and that is down to them. But yeah, I can't speak on that, you know. And I feel like I would feel so much better for speaking on it as well, but I'm just unable to.
Yeah, I feel like once you've spoken about it, that's like um, a little bit of a weight lifted off your shoulders. But
Yeah,
yeah, it has been tough. It's. I mean, when did we find out? Like maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks.
just under 2 weeks, I reckon.
Yeah, so just under 2 weeks, we found out, and since then, I have noticed that Shannon hasn't been great in herself, which was very concerning because I'm 2.5 hours from where Shannon lives, so I can't just get to her quickly when she's not feeling great, especially in hospital. The best I could do was FaceTime, and you know, I kind of was there, but not physically, and I think that was quite hard to see you in hospital.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, actually, you've just jogged my memory, because obviously I'm thinking we've discussed my hospital admission, but we haven't, have we? Because that was on the pod that is withheld at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so yeah, I was in hospital last week. Obviously, a lot of you knew that. It was on my story. Um, Beck stayed up till 6 o'clock in the morning both nights, literally. Um, no one else was there. And this is not me wanting a sympathy. And yeah, that's another thing I'm going to come on to. You know, that's not me wanting to be, you know, loads of people to message me saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Because I was flooded with messages, you know, and everyone did show their concern and stuff. But the only person who was there through my admission and, you know, literally through all the conversations I had with doctors and stuff, you know, was Becky. So this has really affected her as well. And when it comes out, obviously the situation is to do with my friendships and relationships and stuff like that with people. But I don't want it to be dampened how much it's affected you as well, because it really has. And I am going to try and take it further once this investigation's dropped and they see that it's absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
I will take it further 100%, because it's absolutely, like, I'm at rock bottom. I'm completely at rock bottom. I'm lost. Yeah,
And
it's
that was something that I noticed yesterday. Obviously, you wasn't yourself yesterday, and it got to a point where I was really, really concerned.
yeah, I
Um,
know.
so this, when I say this, it's like, to me and Shannon, it was done for a reason. But we have each other on Life 360, and I spent my whole day watching exactly where Shannon was going on Life 360 because I was so concerned that she didn't seem herself. Yeah, it has been fucking shit, and I just want all this to be over now so we can start moving forward, and hopefully both of our mental healths improve after this.
Yeah, because it's not fair, and neither of us have done anything to bring this on. It's been done completely out of spite. You know, ruin my friendship and relationships, and that's exactly what it's done. Not with me and you, obviously.
No.
But yeah, I need to speak on some really deep stuff, and you know, just to give you a heads up, anyone who wouldn't want to listen, you know, the podcast that is already recorded and we're waiting to put out there, it is a massive trigger warning. Beck, don't know if you want to speak about that, just so people know how deep it goes. There are going to be images shared. There are going to be, we're going to be speaking about violence, abuse, you know, domestic abuse and stuff like that. You know, that's all going to be spoken about in the podcast that is waiting to be put out. So if that's something that is going to because we really don't want to trigger anyone, we really don't. But it's a very in-depth podcast, and it's not just a podcast that comes on and goes, right, you've been trolling me, this is who it is, you're a prick, see you later. It's a, you know, a whole year of stuff.
Yeah, and it has got a trigger warning on it at the very beginning, so people will be aware, like, what is spoken about in the podcast when it does come out. So yeah, we felt it was best to do that because we understand that certain things can be triggering, like domestic violence. There's many kinds of assault. You know, we felt like we needed to, because we don't want to, in turn of like telling people what's been going on, we don't want to trigger anyone and upset them.
No, and then I think something we discussed as well in the podcast that's waiting is why we've done this. So why do we want to come on to YouTube and speak about it? And that's because I think we fucking can, and because we fucking should. Yeah, we've just spoken about how much these people have brought us down. And absolutely, for me, ruined my whole entire life at the moment. That is temporary. And I will pick myself back up, as well as having, you know, Becky, who is absolutely undoubtedly my best friend in the whole world, to be there to pick me up too. But you know, that's why, because I've had people say that in my inbox. And on that note, I've said this to Becky as well, I have not looked at my inbox in days, and that is nothing personal. I just physically am not strong enough to at the moment, so please don't take that personally. If you know, if you've messaged me and, you know, tried to check up, I'm just, yeah, very much keeping myself going at the moment, and part of that is kind of just not really engaging too much with social media.
Yeah, and I think that's probably best for you at the moment, just to focus on you. And I think
Yeah.
you recognised that the other day, and you was like, I need to focus on me for a little bit, and I'm glad that you recognised that, because it's true.
Yeah, it is definitely. I can't remember where I was going with that then. Because then I went on to the fact that I'm not replying to messages.
We was on about like the trigger warning and stuff like that. I don't know if that's going to jog your memory.
No, I've lost it. But yeah, it will all make a lot more sense soon. I think lots of people will be able to put two and two together here. I hope you can. I hope you can. Don't, names in the comments and stuff. Just be careful of that this week, I think. But yeah, for anyone that knows me and kind of knows what my situation has been over the last year or so, will be able to hopefully put two and two together. I
Yeah.
hope.
I'm sure people will, but as it stands, we can't directly name anyone. And like Shannon's just said, if you do kind of figure it out, please don't put it in the comments, because it's, although it's not us speaking about it, it's still going to be like brought up on the podcast, and it's like we have to be so careful at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, all we can say is that it's males, so because I know recently we obviously did a pod about a month ago about a female explorer as well, and as much as she's still a fucking bitch and we can't stand her, like, these are,
Yeah.
males in question. So yeah, not her. Yeah, I don't know what else to say on it.
Yeah.
I think we're both really deflated by it. We wanted this so much to be able to have our side. They've had their side. Well, I say they. Yeah, one in particular more than the other at the moment, because I think the other one knows the less he says, the better for his sake. But yeah, one in particular is really going for the victim side of things at the moment, and
I have got to say what I'm going to say. But the one that's going for it more so at the moment seems to play the disability card a lot.
yeah,
And I just feel like people are so fooled, so
yeah.
fooled.
Because in my interview, he was spoken about as a vulnerable adult, and that just absolutely cracked me up, because if you'd seen the shit this person has wrote online for years about majority of people that he comes across, how dare they call him vulnerable?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's backwards. So to be told across the table, you are potentially harassing and bullying a vulnerable adult is just absolutely barbaric. Honestly, nearly laughable, because yeah,
Yeah. Because
not okay.
yeah, and this person knows what they're doing. They know right from wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do feel like the disability card has been played in previous situations this person has brought themselves into as well. So no doubt it will be brought into this situation. I mean, obviously in the email, I can't remember what was the exact words. Alarm and distress. They are words that are used in law, but they are also words that have been used by this person themselves. So this person themselves has said off their own back they feel alarmed and distressed. Yeah, and I don't think I can comment on what I was just about to say, but their actions, even since the police have arrested me and interviewed me, is even more mind fucking, because for someone that's alarmed and distressed, that's certainly not how I would act if I was alarmed in distress.
Yeah, they're not showing that they are alarmed or distressed at all.
No, I've had no contact with this person since this come out. In fact, even since the police called me, have I? I cut contact off maybe a week ago?
Uh-huh.
Um, and I've had constant messages off their main profile, almost trying to be friendly.
Yeah, and it's odd.
Very. You know, when I've been sat across the police table and they've told me by first and last name, this person is said that A, B, and C, yet you're trying to message me. And yeah, it's this is what I mean. And so it gets to a point where I'm just like, I can't think about it anymore. I said to Beck yesterday, the only reason I didn't turn my phone off yesterday is because I knew how worried she was about me and I wanted her to be able to keep an eye on me. I wasn't in the frame of mind to talk yesterday. I physically couldn't. If there's anyone I'm going to speak to in my worst times, it's Becky. And we were in contact all day, but not like usual, at all. And yeah, so the only reason I didn't turn my phone off is because I wanted her to have my location. And she only ever had my we've shared each other's locations now for months, but that was only ever to keep me safe in the first place anyway. And this was months ago, October maybe. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there's no reason for us to have each other's location anymore. But it's almost normal because if I if I leave the house, I'll get a message going, "Where are you going?"
Yeah, or I'll phone you and be like, "It's not your normal going out time. Where are you going?" But yeah, especially while things are going, it was very necessary for Becky to have my location, and it still is at the moment because I am at the moment at risk. If I say the wrong thing, these people, some of them have already shown me violence, and it makes me feel better to know that she knows where I am, and that's our choice. So if anyone wants to, also Becky, while we're here,
Yeah.
do we need to clear up some rumours about me and you having an affair?
Yes. So it's rumoured that me and Shannon are having an affair, and it's absolutely fucking correct. No, I'm joking. We're not.
I think we put it to Ricky the other day. You were like, "Fuck, Ricky, listen to this," and he was like, "Oh yeah, all right."
Because we was on about a bondage hotel, and he wasn't phased at all.
No, I think you said, "Yeah, we're gonna go to the bondage hotel." You went, "Oh yeah, when?" So, but I mean, I think you said to me, even he's been like, "Why the fuck is she not farting down a voice note to you?" Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, even he's picked up on like, what's going on with her, and
Okay.
that's something because that guy could not be less phased by my shenanigans and my shit, but for him to actually be like, "I haven't heard her fart down a voice note tonight. What's happening?"
Yeah. Yeah. He's picked up on the fact that you've not been right in yourself for a few days. And yesterday, obviously, he picked up on the fact that I was quiet, and that was obviously because I was fucking sat here worried about you. But yeah, it's been a shit fucking week and a half, innit, really?
At the moment it's a big mess, but I do feel like, touch wood, and please touch wood for me, like everybody that's listening, please touch wood for me. I do feel like it can only get better from here. Things are going to slowly start dropping off and sorting themselves out, and by summer you will see a completely different Shannon, because I've been being trolled since November. Wasn't overly affected by that until recently when it started getting quite personal, and then some of the things in the messages, it's hard, isn't it? Were very personal to me, and only a few people knew that. I think I can say that. because
Yeah.
so I can't discuss the messages. I know I cannot discuss the messages, but certain things in the messages were very personal to me, and literally 3 people knew that about me. One of them was Becky. So, and the other 2 were very close to me. So that's when it started really distressing me and Becky, because we were like, my God, this is someone like in an inside job, you know?
Yeah, and I swear I sat there for about 2 days going, it's not me. Like, Shannon, you have to believe me, it's not me. You need to start looking like closer to the people that know this kind of information.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah,
stressful.
and and I never thought it was Becky. Like, as much as people literally at some point may have well signed it with from Becky, because that's what they were trying to initiate. Or there was another female involved as well that they were trying to make out that it was as well. Which a message I got like since this makes me think that was their motive even more.
Yeah.
Odd. I never thought it was Becky, and I said that even before the IP addresses come back. You know, I said to her, I don't think it's you. I don't, like, please be assured. But obviously that was still really distressing for Becky, because she's like, well, and I'd be the same. You know,
Yeah.
like, when I tell you there is nothing this woman does not know about me, you know, and maybe that was half of the problem. Maybe certain people close to me didn't like that.
I do think that was. I think. Do you know what? I think all this involves a lot of jealousy, and
Yeah.
that's why they've gone out of their way to try and sabotage our friendship. And I'm so pleased that we are like how we are. Like, we're very close, and we literally talk about so much. Shannon knows a lot about me. I know a lot about Shannon, and it would never work.
No, it wouldn't. And I think when we can speak about it more as well, you will realise that these people literally hung themselves from about 2 weeks ago, before we went to the extent that we did to get the IP addresses. And when I say we got the IP addresses, we didn't pay $3.99 on a Chinese website to get somewhere pinpointed in the UK. We went for a very reliable source. I went to the police before any of this.
Yeah.
And obviously now it's been turned around on me, which is fine. You know, the police will only ever go on evidence, and the only evidence out there is evidence where I'm the victim, you know. But yeah, I went. What was I going to say now? See, this I'm really not with it today, guys. You're going to have to just accept the fact that I'm jumping from one subject to the other. But I was talking about IP addresses. Yeah, that comes from a very reliable source. And even before the IP addresses come back, me and Becky were 100% sure on who it was, because they hung themselves. And we will speak about this and how they hung themselves, and how they pretty much told us it was them, by doing certain things and saying certain things and their actions, you know. So yeah, it's a whole episode, like, and I can't wait to share it with you. I really can't wait to tell you my story, because, well, our story, because, you know, yes, it's been distressing, but this is my story to tell, and I am going to fucking tell it, you know, all of it.
Yeah, and this is the most frustrating thing, because everything that we spoke about in that podcast that's already recorded and ready to go, we said about it all being factual. There's nothing made up. Like, everything comes with receipts. We've got it all.
Yeah, which
So
are also going to be shown as well. So they're receipts not just that we know we've got, they're receipts that you're going to see too, because that's so important to me. Anyone can come on here and say this happened, but I am going to show you the evidence as well, you know, which is quite graphic in some ways, but I am, because I'm not going to sit here and say things that could be manipulated. Everything I say is going to come with proof and evidence, and no one's going to be able to get their way around that.
no, no, there's no way of getting out of what you've got. So yeah, and I am a firm believer of every action has a consequence, and it really does.
Yeah.
I just feel like this whole situation has been completely turned around, and now we're kind of being silenced for a little bit, but hopefully not too long until we can get this podcast up that everyone really wants to hear.
Yeah, because that's it. You know what he have done. Because I do think that although this is the ringleader of this investigation is one person, you know, there are multiple people behind it. I do think that, you know, this is only a ticking time bomb. You've gone to the police on false allegations. They must know nothing's going to come of this. You know, the police can download my whole phone. You know, they have done. So when nothing comes of this, you have nothing to save yourself then. You know, so yes, it's frustrating, especially for me because I am the most impatient person ever. That's why I don't use Amazon. I'm that impatient. If I want something, I want it now. I will drive 2 hours instead of just sitting and waiting for it to be delivered to my doorstep tomorrow. So believe me, I am just as itching to get this out as the rest of you. I really am. But yeah, it's just there's no way around it, and here we are.
Just got to sit tight for a little bit.
But we're still here. I mean, we could have completely easily just said, look, no pod this week. Too much is going on. But absolutely not. We are going to come on and still speak on the situation as much as we can. And yeah, like I said, when the police investigations dropped, which is imminent because it's going on nothing,
Uh,
there's nothing to protect these people then. Nothing.
yeah, there's nothing at all. And this is what I was saying to Shannon just before recording this. I said to her, let's be honest, said person has gone to the police to say that they feel alarmed and distressed. What evidence have they shown? Because there's nothing.
Yeah.
We've not openly sat here and said any names and said we're going to expose you. We've said nothing. So they have gone to the police off their own back because they knew that we knew it was them.
And the thing is, I love a 24 hours in police custody, right? And I know normally if there's evidence that will be shown to you in interview for you to be able to address it. You know, like, oh, here's a recording of you on CCTV. Is that you? You know?
Mm.
Nothing was shown to me. I was asked about it. It was spoken about verbally. I had no screenshots or anything pulled or shown to me and said, can you explain this? Because there is nothing. You know, they've had an allegation made by a vulnerable adult. So they have to investigate that. Any allegation has to be investigated. But there's no evidence because I know I would have been shown it yesterday, and my solicitor said the same. I haven't gone out my way to get a solicitor. I literally was just advised by the duty solicitor, but again said the same. Any evidence, 99% would have been shown to you across the table for you to have your input on it and for you to explain it. You know, if they had any evidence on you at all, they would have shown you that, and I wasn't shown anything.
Yeah, and I feel like this is why we're so confident that in a couple of weeks' time we can completely share everything with you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch over a question we had asked before, and we answered it, but it was very short, and it was do we feel that enough is being done with online trolls? And I just wanted to go over this again because this is a perfect opportunity to kind of speak about it. And personally, no, because these trolls have completely tried to ruin Shannon's life and our friendship. And look at the position we're in now. We can't talk about it. Shannon got arrested for it. It's just the fucking it's fucked.
Yeah, and when I went to the police before they did, to report this, you know, They did log it. I did have a phone call from a police officer, but the police officer was very honest and said the threshold to open a case and actually investigate a case when it comes to regarding like online social media trolling is huge, very high threshold. And he explained to me, imagine if they investigated every single unkind comment or unkind fake inboxes that people had online, like it would just be impossible. So that's the sad thing, because I think you could be being trolled but may feel a bit helpless because, from my experience of going to the police, I felt a bit helpless. I remember ringing Becky like, don't think they're going to do anything about it. Because no threats of violence were made, I was basically told, to keep logging it. I had to send a message to basically say, like, I don't want any more communications, and then maybe they'd look into it. But yeah, I think it's very hard to get taken seriously when it comes to being trolled. But then look at the statistics on trigger warning suicide. How many people have taken their lives because of online trolling, But yet it seems that nothing really has been done.
No, and I feel like you went to the police and you've just explained what was said to you then, and then this person has gone to the police and it's completely different.
Yeah.
And we're not trolling them. We're not trolling them at all. It's the other way around. But how have they now how has it got to the point where you've been arrested? We cannot talk about what we wanted to talk about freely, and we should have that fucking right to. Because what? So do we all play the vulnerable card here? Do we all, if I go to the police and say I'm getting trolled, I'm vulnerable, blah blah blah, are they going to do something then? Or like, I don't understand how two very similar situations hit. No, actually, no, it's not. So your situation was you being trolled, yet the troll has gone to the police, and they're the ones that the police are siding with. It just doesn't make sense.
No, and I mean, there was another arrest made in connection with this, but not directly connected with it. Oh my, it's so hard. So, but yeah, there was another arrest made from the opposite party. So one of the opposite parties was arrested too. So not someone on my side. Becky, does that make sense?
I think, yeah, I think to other people it'll make sense.
Yeah, so not someone wasn't. So basically, the people that have been trolling me, one of them was arrested too. But that involves different allegations. So yeah, it's so complicated, guys. And I know you're going to be sat there like, what the hell are you on about? But it's yeah. I think the reason they've investigated him is because he's played the vulnerable card. He said that he is scared for his own safety. He has carers around him as well, so I don't know whether that makes him more of a risk because he's vulnerable. I don't know. But also, obviously, we've spoken about me being arrested. I just want to say, I didn't have the SWAT team at the door telling me to put my hands in the air. It wasn't an arrest like that. I had a phone call to say, there'd been an allegation made. Could I go in for a voluntary interview? And then obviously when I got there, I was taken down to custody and cautioned and interviewed. So it wasn't, like, I mean, yes, the arrest was distressing because I don't have a criminal record. I'm not that kind of person. So it was all very new to me and daunting. But yeah, I just wanted to touch upon it wasn't like, they came looking for me and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it was all done because people have to understand as well that both me and you have mental health problems, and I feel like the way that it was dealt with you was still in a way professional, but frustrating because you should never have been arrested in the first place. Like this shouldn't be happening.
No, and that's why originally they wanted to take me up to his hometown to to interview me there, which is about 3 hours away from me. So I protested that. I spoke to you, didn't I, like 3 a.m. and I was like, I don't want to go in there. Like,
Yeah.
that's just going to make me feel even more like on edge and nervous. So I protested my mental health and said I want to be near to my mental health team. So they did let me go in, and it's New Hampshire that are dealing with it, and I'm glad of that as well, because just little things. I just felt more comfortable doing it closer to home. But um, yeah, it will all come out, and again, going on to the should more done be about should more be done about trolling. Will there be a consequence for this person when it comes out that they have absolutely wasted police time and literally lied? No,
No, there
there
won't
won't
be.
be.
No, they won't. And that's annoying because they have wasted police time by going and completely lying the whole way through.
Yeah,
Um, nothing's going to be done because it's the vulnerable side of things again.
yeah. Saying that, obviously their statement, well, parts of their statement was read out to me, saying that they're not sleeping, and um, but then posting the next day a selfie of them out exploring and having the best time. Like, I'm sorry, and I don't think I haven't screenshotted all of this, because I have. And it's like, I had a message last night that was screenshotted, that's been already been sent over to them. So yeah, it's a really shit situation, but it will all come out, and I think you'll be shocked at the extent of it, but really, maybe you won't be so shocked as to who's behind it.
Yeah, I don't think who's behind it will come as a shock at all. I really don't because people know these people. They know exactly what they're like, and they're known for being trolls. Um, but this time they've really shit themselves because they know that we come with receipts.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then obviously we will, in the podcast that's recorded as well, we speak about more than the trolling as well, like stuff that I've experienced as well over the past year, and which is all connected. So yeah, it's going to be a lot, but it's definitely something that I want to be publicised, and that's my choice really. So yeah,
Yeah. Because in all this, really, what you've been through is is your story to tell, and you're entitled to tell your story.
you are. Yeah, I am. Sorry. um, and I did say that yesterday as well. Like, what happens to freedom of speech and stuff like that, and then the police discussed with me briefly at interview about hate speech or planned hate speech. So I think there's just so many wires that can be crossed, and that's fine, because the way I look at it at the moment, this person has jumbled up all the wires and thrown out hate speech, malicious communications, harassment, and bullying. But then wires are slowly going to get unpicked, and then they're going to have no safety net for themselves, because I haven't bullied them. I didn't even reply to any of these messages. Like, are you crazy? Because even stuff that's deleted can always be found by the police majority of the time. I haven't bullied anyone. I certainly haven't harassed anyone. This person claimed to be my friend. Me and this person have been out a lot well, not a lot, but we've spent time together recently. Um, while the messages had been being sent, and now I feel like I'm saying too much.
Um, I mean,
The wires will be uncrossed, yeah, and the police are going to know very soon that actually nothing's been. I'm completely clear in all of this. I've done nothing wrong.
yeah, you haven't done anything wrong, and it's so clear to see. But this person is clutching at straws, panicking themselves because they know that they fucked up.
Yeah, literally clutching at straws. It's like, I've said a bit of it now, so I'm just going to touch on that again. You know, when I found out as well, and I was still getting these messages, I could have. I didn't reply once. Whereas really, I should have replied here saying, "Listen up, you fat little fuck." Do you know what I mean? But I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't reply once. So God knows where their mindset is with them thinking the police are gonna generally be like, "Oh God, yeah, poor little you."
Yeah. Mm. Do you know what?
We do love fat people, though. I am sorry. I'm a chunky girl myself, and that was no hate. That was just my intrusive thoughts coming out. So sorry to any of the big gals out there.
I completely forgot what I was going to say. Um, yeah, I can't remember. It's gone.
Sorry.
It's okay. um, I'm just trying to think if we've missed anything out that we can publicly talk about right now.
I already think I've done a bit more than that. To be fair, the stuff I think that I probably should have kept.
I know.
But
No. I don't think you've said anything out of line.
one thing I do want to add as well is I wait. You know, obviously I touched upon the messages thing. I don't want sympathy. I don't want to speak about it. I'm not going to be replying to any inboxes about it. Obviously, I speak to Becky about it, and that's the only person that I wish to know about it at the moment. You know, obviously, I want you all to know about it, but I can't. So I'm not going to be discussing this privately with anyone. And that's just to protect my own mental health at the moment. I don't want this to engulf my whole life like it already has. So I hope that's understood.
Yeah, I think people that do come on every week and talk and listen will understand that and respect it, because you cannot talk about it. I technically could, but
Yeah,
I'm not going to, not until we can both discuss it together. I mean, obviously the pod where we expose them is already recorded, so we both obviously talk about it. But yeah, I'm not happy to kind of talk to anyone regarding this, because I just want to be able to kind of do it when it all comes out, because then it's bringing their names into it. And yeah, I'd rather just wait a little bit until we can both sit here and talk about it properly.
and if you've worked it out for yourself, then that's great. Like, well done, you. But for the moment, you know, run to Becky maybe because she's more, you know, she's had you know, I don't know how to say it, but don't run to me and be like, is it this person? Because I can't physically reply to you.
Yeah.
I can't speak on it.
I mean, if anyone comes to me, I'm not going to confirm who it is. Just out of respect, I'm not going to confirm who it is yet. Not respect to them, respect for you, because I don't know. Although I've not been told I cannot speak about it, the chances are, if I do, I'm going to have the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's not knowing really what I can and can't say myself.
Yeah.
I probably could talk about this, and we sat here today, didn't we? And I was saying, well, what if I do it? Like, what if I talk by myself about what's happened? But it didn't feel right, because it goes deeper than just the trolls.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, like, we have tried to work our way around it, and we just can't, and it's gutting. But I do feel like maybe some of you will work out who it is from this. And we've done nothing wrong in what we've said tonight. We've said everything that we're allowed to say. But yeah, I just feel like at this point, just sit tight and be patient, and it will be out. Just don't know when.
Yeah. I mean, it's 5 to 7, guys, on Tuesday evening. This is going out at 8:30 on Tuesday evening because we were that desperate to give you something
Yeah,
because you deserve it. We've publicised this. we want you to know. It's shit that we can't tell you at the moment, but we have given you every bit of information that we possibly can at the moment that we're allowed to. And yeah, obviously I appreciate you all being here. And
Oh. Well, Shannon. Yeah, that cut off. I don't know what happened there. She's still not back either. But I think, to be fair, we are close. Oh, are you back?
what did you hear?
It kind of just went quiet, and I was like, Shannon?
Someone phoned me. Fucking hell.
Typical. Well, I was just saying that we've done talking about what we need to talk about, and this just popped into my head. So we've done a podcast for tonight, which would originally have been for tomorrow. I was going to say, do we do another one to go up tomorrow, or do we just continue with next week now on Wednesday?
I mean, I'm all alone this week, so if we can do one tomorrow if you want.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know if we can find anyone to come on. If you want to come on the pod and record one tomorrow, send
Yeah.
Becky a message.
Yeah, send me a message. If not, me and Shannon could just do one ourselves, and we can find a little subject to talk about. But yeah, I think we're pretty much done with this now, and I have nothing else to say really, apart from fuck you trolls.
Literally. Go and fuck each other. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, anyway, speak later.
Yeah, on that note, thank you everyone for coming along and listening. We're sorry that it's not what you wanted to hear, but we've give you what we can. So yeah, and we will put another pod up then for tomorrow.
Speak tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye.